Hey everyone, Shaun Stevenson here, author of the Throne series way up there, and today we are talking about a really weird book that I read. I was waiting to read this in October because I knew I wanted to read it during spooky season because it takes place on Halloween. And so I read this book during spooky season, just a couple days before Halloween, and this book was weird. It was really weird. I read The Jack-o'-lantern That Ate My Brother by Dean Marney. Now, this is a book from the 90s, and it's a short, 100-page or so book that is very interesting. There is lots to talk about with this book, especially with the characters, which we are going to talk about the character voice. If you are a writer, you're going to want to hear this because this was very interesting from a writing perspective. Now, this book is actually a sequel to another book. The first book in the series is The Christmas Tree That Ate My Mother, and then this one, The Jack-o'-lantern That Ate My Brother, follows it. But there are more in this series because not only is there a Christmas one and a Halloween one, but there's also The Easter Bunny That Ate My Sister, and there is, which I will be reading shortly, The Turkey That Ate My Father. There's actually one more. It's a Valentine's Day one I haven't found yet. I believe it's The Valentine That Ate My Teacher, I think is what it is, but I'm not for sure about that right now. Now, this is a loose series with the same characters over and over again. However, I did not really know that they would build on each other a tiny bit because in The Jack-o'-lantern That Ate My Brother, there are events that are referenced from The Christmas Tree That Ate My Mother. So I was a tiny bit confused because at this one point, they go to this shop that's a Halloween shop, and they meet a character who I believe is from that first book, because the character says some mysterious things to our main character, Lizzie, and tells her that he won't be able to journey with her this time. And so I thought, wait, what? Oh, that must be from that other book that I haven't read yet because it's a Christmas book. Which I will just say, here's my complaint that I'm going to start off with right here is, okay, so if the Christmas book is the first book, why is the Jack-o'-lantern Halloween book number 2, when you have multiple holidays between Christmas and Halloween? It seems like it should go the Christmas one, the Valentine one, and then we should be going to the Easter one. And then after the Easter one, we should be doing not the Thanksgiving one yet. Then it should be the Halloween one. And then it should be the Thanksgiving one, and then back to Christmas. That's how I would like to read these books, in holiday chronological order, but that's not how they are. So, it's a little bit confusing. So back to The Jack-o'-lantern That Ate My Brother by Dean Marney. So this really is book 2. So I do recommend, if you want to read these books, I would say probably read the Christmas one first, because like I said, there's a few things mentioned in this book that are from that Christmas book that are kind of unexplained in this book. This is back in the 90s when there were a lot of authors did this, where they had a book come out and then they decided, oh, I'm going to do a sequel. But they don't make it a series or make it obvious that it's a sequel. It might have some similar coloring on the binding or a similar art style for the lettering, all those kinds of things. And the characters are even the same, but they don't put them in order. So you don't really know unless you look at publication date which one goes where. So I am telling you, the Christmas one is first, then the Halloween one. After that, I actually do not know, and I'm going to be looking at the publication order to figure it out. In fact, why don't I just look right now and I'll tell you. Okay, so out of the ones that I own, I don't have the Valentine one, so I can't really check it for you. There's also The Computer That Ate My Brother, but it's not a holiday one, so we'll set that aside. So out of the ones I have, the Thanksgiving one seems to be book 3. It came out in 1995, and then the Easter one seems to be the last one so far, and that came out in 1996. So there's your order. You have Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then Easter, and somewhere in there, the Valentine one. So in this book, let's get back to Halloween here, shall we? In this book, you have these two siblings, Lizzie and Booker, who Lizzie calls her little brother Booker, Booger, because he's annoying. So Lizzie really bothers her brother quite a bit and is kind of a tease to him, but he is equally jerky to her. Like, I kept thinking a few times, he kind of deserves that because he was being a jerk to you. So why are you getting in trouble, Lizzie? Because Lizzie is always getting in trouble. No matter what happens, Lizzie gets in trouble. I almost thought a little bit like, this is kind of unrealistic that the sister's always getting in trouble and that the parents wouldn't actually believe her ever. I just thought, that seems sort of unrealistic to me, but I guess that's just me. So Lizzie and Booker, they are eventually have to go trick-or-treating together because of a series of different unfortunate events. There are a bunch of things that happen where Lizzie ends up having to take her younger brother trick-or-treating, or she's not trick-or-treating at all. And in the process, there's been some spooky stuff going on because Lizzie has been hearing a strange voice. And she keeps hearing this voice throughout the days leading up to Halloween. And then when Halloween comes, she comes face to face with the face connected to the voice. And it may or may not be someone who means her harm. So this book, it went in a very interesting direction. And there is a last third of the book that was really odd. And I felt like I was in the middle of a random dream that I kept thinking, what is going on exactly? Like, we're here, we're there, this is happening, that's happening. It kind of just swirled around and made not a lot of sense, I will say. So Lizzie and Booker kind of reminded me of a Goosebumps sibling pair that just gets on each other's nerves over and over and over again. However, I would say that Dean Marney has a much stronger voice for his characters than R.L. Stine does. In fact, Lizzie's character has a strong character voice. And what I mean by that is this book is told in first person. First person is when the narration says I or we instead of Lizzie did this. It says I did this. And so it's a lot closer of a narration to one character in particular, and this follows Lizzie throughout the book. And Lizzie has a very sharp wit and a very strong sense of humor that's actually pretty funny. And there were multiple times I thought, oh, that's actually really hilarious, the way that that's written. And it never came across as, oh, this is an adult writing a kid who's too smart for themselves. It never came across like that. It sounded like stuff that kids actually say. And I really, really thought that was great. It was hilarious. Like, the narration to me was what made it elevated above the random plot that I can't even begin to describe because it made no sense to me. But this book was a lot of fun, I will say. I was never bored, even though I was highly confused near the end. There are some sequences near the end that just feel like multiple climaxes, like kind of over and over and over and over. And I thought, okay, you need to land this plane. But we only have 100 pages and we still had like 20 pages to go. And I thought, what are we going to do in those last 20 pages? And it really was just kind of like, here's another climax, here's another climax, here's another climax, instead of kind of wrapping things up in a really strong way. I feel like the ending of the book kind of floundered a bit when we get into this really weird dream world kind of thing going on, which I don't want to say much more about because I don't want to spoil it for you in case you do want to read it. And I would say it's worth a read if you're looking for something that's kind of different from the 90s to read that takes place on Halloween. This would be a book that you could fit into that category. So this one is kind of a mixed bag for me, I'm not gonna lie. So at the end of the day, if you're looking for a book that does have like the Halloween vibes, you've got trick-or-treating, you've got Halloween Day, you've got jack-o'-lanterns like it says on the cover, you've got a lot of different things going on, but I also feel like it's super random and kind of odd. And other than that really strong character voice, I just feel like the other choices that are made, like the plot, are just really, really strange. Like, it's not cohesive strange. It's just weird strange. So I would definitely give this book a 3 out of 5 stars. It was good, but it wasn't one I'm probably ever going to reread. And it was confusing, like I said, because it had that ending, but also references to previous books that I had not read, but didn't catch me up to kind of fill me in on here's what's going on with that. Like there's a conversation that happens that is just dropped. And I thought, what's going on with that? And I think it does reference that previous book. So I'm going to be reading the Thanksgiving one next because Thanksgiving is coming up next for me as of the recording of this video. And then I'm going to read the Christmas one because I don't want to read a Christmas book before Thanksgiving time. It just doesn't seem like it would make sense to me. So that's my review of The Jack-o'-lantern That Ate My Brother. Have you read this book? What did you think? Please tell me in the comments down below because I'd be curious to know. So until next time, everybody, keep reading. Bye.